You know that person who never posts anything. Their profile is a ghost town. No stories, no updates, maybe a profile picture from 3 years ago. You might think they're disconnected. You might think they're hiding. But what if they're the only ones who actually understand the game? Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt genuinely relaxed on social media? Not scrolling to kill time, not checking if anyone replied, but just present. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you typed out a caption, stared at it, then deleted the whole thing? That tiny moment of hesitation, that's not indecision. That's your brain running a high-speed calculation. Will this land? Will this make me look interesting, successful, carefree enough? Do I need the approval of people I haven't spoken to since high school? And somewhere between add to story and share, something quietly breaks. The moment you realize you're performing, the joy leaks out. You're no longer experiencing the moment you're packaging it for export. That's when a strange countercultural thought appears. What if I just don't? Sociologist Erving Goffman talked about life as a stage, where we all wear masks to manage how others see us. But social media didn't just hand us a mask. It strapped us into a theater with a billion judges and gave them a permanent rewind button. One unflattering post isn't just awkward, it's archived, forever, ready to be dragged out and examined years later. So people who stay quiet aren't being antisocial. They're simply refusing to audition. Research calls them lurkers. Roughly 30 to 40% of social media users scroll but never share. The word sounds sinister, like they're creeping in the shadows. But a study in Frontiers in Psychology found something that flips that narrative entirely. When the pressure to post collides with the fear of being judged, a circuit overloads. Social comparison, privacy anxiety, and the invisible weight of other people's expectations create genuine exhaustion. The brain doesn't freeze because it's weak. It freezes because it's trying to protect you. Not posting isn't a glitch. It's a survival instinct. Think about comparison. It's not just unhelpful, it's poison in your mental water supply. You're sitting there on a rainy Tuesday afternoon with a half-eaten sandwich, and your feed is serving you engagement rings, beach bodies, and promotions written in gushing gratitude. Intellectually, you know it's a highlight reel. But your subconscious can't tell the difference between a curated moment and a real life. It just sees they have more than me, and the damage is done before you even close the app. There's a framework in psychology called self-determination theory. It says humans thrive when they feel in control of their own choices, free from outside pressure. Social media is the exact chemical opposite, a validation machine that outsources your self-worth to strangers with double-tap privileges. The quiet ones, the non-posters, they've grasped something crucial. My confidence does not need a Wi-Fi signal. Studies show that people with higher self-esteem and a strong internal sense of security often feel zero compulsion to broadcast their lives. They scroll out of curiosity, maybe to stay loosely tethered, but they guard their boundaries because their identity isn't a group project. It's their own. Picture someone you know who rarely posts. When you meet them for coffee, are they miserable, lonely, desperate for attention? No. They're usually the most grounded person in the room. They laugh easier. They listen better. They're not mentally composing a caption while you're talking. They're just there. They figured out that the most precious resource isn't likes, it's presence. And you can't be present if you're always curating the evidence. Here's the trap you don't see coming. Even if you're wise to the fakery, passive scrolling still injects the venom. You see someone's new house, their creative side hustle thriving, their blissful relationship, and your brain starts running the comparison algorithm automatically. You didn't agree to the race, but your emotions are already losing it. People who avoid posting sidestep this full-body collision not because they're fragile, but because they've recognized the track is rigged. Why volunteer for a competition where everyone else is directing, editing, and photoshopping their own highlight film? And then there's the loophole, YouTube. There's a whole population that devours 3-hour video essays but won't touch Instagram or TikTok. Why? Because YouTube doesn't demand a performance in return. Nobody cares if you liked the documentary. Nobody's auditing your feed to see if you've posted recently. It's pure consumption learning, laughing, thinking without the social tax. It's entertainment without anxiety, connection without confession. They found the off-ramp from the performance economy. Another layer. People who skip social media often have smaller circles but deeper ties. They'd rather have 3 friends who know their actual fears than 1,000 followers who heart a sunset photo. Research consistently shows that the quality of your relationships, not the quantity, predicts long-term happiness. 10 real conversations where you're fully seen beat 1,000 reactions where you're lightly observed. These non-posters aren't checked out. They're intensely observant. They notice the subtle shift in someone's caption tone, the quiet cry for help disguised as a motivational quote. They're paying a different kind of attention not to the performance, but to the person behind it. Psychologists split self-awareness into 2 flavors. Public self-consciousness is worrying about how you look to others. Private self-consciousness is examining your own thoughts, values, and feelings. The ones who don't post lean hard into the second kind. Instead of asking, "How will this look?" they ask, "How does this feel?" This isn't overthinking, it's emotional intelligence. When you're not constantly managing a public image, you reclaim mental space for genuine reflection. You can sit with hard questions, build an identity that doesn't crumble without external applause, and develop a sense of self that exists even when the cameras are off. Here's what gets dangerously misunderstood. Choosing silence is not the same as hiding. It's not fear. It's power. It's the quiet declaration. My private life is valuable precisely because it isn't being traded for engagement. Some experiences actually diminish when you perform them. A sunset loses its awe when you're fixated on exposure settings. A conversation becomes less meaningful when your brain is drafting the witty caption. An achievement feels more hollow when it's immediately weighed for impact. Researchers find that folks who rarely post often display higher reflection and emotional stability. They're less yanked around by the dopamine swings of notifications. They're playing a longer, quieter game one called inner peace. And here's the paradox nobody highlights. The same traits that make people step back from social media control, self-reflection, security, are exactly what the platforms promise to give you. Connection, community, self-expression. The marketing says, join us and belong. But the reality created a stage where authenticity is the rarest currency, where silence became suspicious, and where not performing is stranger than posting 3 times a day. The people who opt out aren't rejecting connection. They're rejecting the terms and conditions that require you to package your soul into shareable bytes. They're saying, I'll connect with you in real time, without the filter, without the show, and only if it's real. So here's the question I want to leave twisting in your mind. What if the ones who don't post aren't the ones missing out? What if they're the ones who cracked the code first? What if choosing privacy over performance, depth over followers, and presence over posting isn't antisocial at all, but the deepest form of self-respect? Because at the end of everything, nobody lies there wishing they'd uploaded more. But so many wish they'd been there more, fully there. The quiet ones aren't lurking in the shadows. They're just living in the light where the camera cannot reach. If this hits something raw and real, please subscribe. And if you want to support more deep dives like this, hit that join button to become a channel member. I genuinely appreciate your support.